Hey everybody, it is Roberto Wakerl Cruz from the Millennial podcast, and today we're joined in New York City with a very special guest, Mr. Andrew Doyle.
Hello.
Probably known a lot by most people online. By how many followers do you have?
Oh, as Titania, I don't know, 418,000.
400.
A lot more than me. People don't know who I am.
You have a personal Twitter as well?
Yeah, we're not anywhere near as many.
But Titania McGrath is basically.
Yeah. I prefer that. I prefer being known as someone else.
The character that's probably brought you. Do you have other characters, or is it just Titania?
I have a couple, but I'm not telling people who they are.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Are they already unleashed on the world?
Yeah, but they don't have many. It's just for my own entertainment.
I see.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, I like to sort of experiment with ideas.
But it's all you're doing satire through at this point, eh?
Yeah.
Which is really interesting. I think satire is a really effective way of making comedy. And I was scrolling through Titania's tweets, and I hate the question, where do you get your ideas from?
Yeah.
But it is a question that is sometimes, it comes to mind when I was looking through Titania, and there's a couple tweets that really got me. The penis is an alt-right hate symbol. For instance,
so
how do you?
well, because
what's the writing process?
Well, I mean, the process is you just look at the world around you and you see the excesses of the social justice movement who are providing you with this fodder, right? So, I mean, that idea, for instance, is simply, I mean, the Anti-Defamation League has recently added certain ostensibly innocuous things like bowl haircuts.
What's the reasoning for that?
I don't know what the reasoning for that one is, but presumably some fascist types have that haircut or something. So they sort of find things to add to their list of hate symbols. And then it just occurred to me, she hates anything to do with masculinity or males. So obviously the penis to her is an alt-right hate symbol. Why not?
Yeah, I mean, I remember in regards to haircuts, I think there was I can't remember the case. It was on Twitter. I think you know what I'm going to talk about. There was a guy that had a brain surgery.
Yeah.
And he had a big scar on his forehead, and it was around the same time as Charlottesville when everyone was losing their minds about the racists and the tiki torches.
Yeah.
Was the punchline to every joke. But he had what I guess could have been described as a somewhat fashy hairstyle.
Okay.
Someone doxed him on Twitter and said, "Look at this, alt-right hair."
Yeah, like,
and it turns out he had a brain surgery.
But it adds. I mean, it's something to do with the way in which people are desperate to sort of detect fascism everywhere, even if it doesn't exist. I mean, this happens all the time. But they kind of, I mean, there was a tweet the other day by a guy who said, My 8-year-old child was watching a video on YouTube and suddenly Pepe Frog comes up. So I had to have a big talk because all he saw was a frog.
Yeah.
And I had to explain that actually that was a fascist hate symbol and all the rest of it. And of course that's, the child saw the frog. Mm-hmm. So the child is smarter than the adult in that situation. And then, but the adult's sort of determined to have a conversation about fascism, and it's nuts really.
Well, I guess it's what happens. It's kind of like a rose-tinted glasses kind of situation.
Yeah.
Where instead of the rose, it's the hue of Nazi red that you see.
It's a fantasy. There are obviously neo-Nazis and fascists out there, and we need to be alert to them because they're dangerous people. But there's not very many. Let's put it that way. And the narrative that they are that they've gone mainstream and that they're everywhere is about as. I mean, if you were working for neo-Nazis. Maybe working for their PR department, you couldn't think of a better thing for them. This is really helpful to that movement, and we need to stop helping them out like this. They should be treated with the scorn they deserve, and that includes not pretending that they are more mainstream and popular than they actually are.
Yeah, and it's like the ones that they think are Nazis. I mean, in terms of there being Nazis everywhere, there just isn't.
There just isn't.
I mean, there just isn't. There's no real way to.
There's no other way. Exactly.
Put it any other way, but it's the ones that they think are Nazis and are total. Like, here's another example I really like. Who's Sarah Silverman? Do you remember the Sarah Silverman swastika one? That was a great.
I don't know about that one.
So she was walking. I think she's in New York, probably somewhere, and she had posted a photo onto Twitter, and it was she was basically just freaking out, saying, "Oh my God, look at all across my street there are swastikas."
I remember. Yeah. It was a joke.
Was it?
Wasn't it?
I don't think so, because she ended up replying to tweets saying "Oh, okay. It's just a construction symbol."
Oh, I thought it was a joke.
Oh, I don't think so.
Oh, well, I only briefly caught it, but when I see stuff like that, I assume, particularly from a comedian.
I'd like to give the benefit of a doubt, I really don't. I mean, she's one of the people that really, I think, made a pivot at one point. I don't know how much you know about Sarah Silverman. But she was not the most politically correct.
No, I do know. I know the basic. I know the basics, but I don't know much. I just assume. My assumption is always like with the Sacha Baron Cohen thing when he did the talk about how he's urging social media tech giants to clamp down on free speech.
Right.
My initial reaction for the first couple of weeks was that he's trolling us.
I thought it was for
I thought it must be a troll, it must be a joke, and turns out it's not.
Yeah.
Which is quite depressing.
Well, yeah, especially with a guy that's done such characters like, you know, Bruno. Have you seen Bruno?
Yeah, of course. Yeah. It's a disastrous thing for someone like him to say, but I'd given him the benefit of the doubt and assumed it's not. I assumed it was a joke.
I mean, Nil's not totally in the coffin yet. I still have a little hope. Maybe he's going to make the last turn and come back and
maybe.
I doubt it. So I mean, I have a couple questions about Titania.
Yep, let's
I'm
go.
really curious about this character. So first off, you wrote an article in the Spectator recently. I think it was for the Spectator that you said you might have to kill off Titania McGrath.
Oh well, that's become like a thing. But it was if you read the article, it's almost a flippant joke.
Yeah,
I'm talking about how she's dominating my life at the moment, and therefore I'll have to kill her off.
Yeah.
It's not a serious thing. That said, I don't think she'll last much longer. You know, I don't keep things going longer than they need to.
Seems like it has some real staying power, though. I mean,
Really?
like I heard about Titania. I think probably through work, but I think I'd also heard about it on Joe Rogan, and I know Joe. And I think the first time I'd heard about it is when you got banned. Which I thought was really telling because it's satire, and banning satire, I mean, it's usually not a good sign.
It's not a good sign, is it? No, I agree. I think the issues that relate to social justice and the problem of social justice is not going away anytime soon, and it needs to be addressed. But whether I have the energy to sustain one character for more than 3 years, probably not. Just for myself, just because I get bored of things.
It's really exploded, though, recently. Probably in the last year it's been...
Yeah, if I had to do anything more with it, I would have to develop it further. That's why I've just written a new book as her, but it's a different type of book to the last book. It's a children's book.
Yeah, I saw that. That was in the article, right?
Yeah.
You're writing. What's the book called again?
It is called My First Little Book of Intersectional Activism.
Right. And how did you come up with this one?
So there is a rash of woke children's books that are flooding the market. They're doing exceptionally well.
Yeah.
And it's books like Goodnight Stories for Rebel Girls, C is for Consent, Feminist Baby.
Yeah.
The little girl who gave 0 fucks. So all of these books are.
Is that real?
Yeah, it's real.
Okay.
And all of these books are basically propaganda.
Yeah.
I mean, quite explicit propaganda. That's funny to me. Like this flagrant indoctrination.
Yeah, no, it is.
And they don't think it is because they think, but this is the way you're meant to think.
Well,
So that's really funny. And I like the idea of Titania trying to write one because she can't speak to children. She doesn't know how to use, well, even the title tells you she doesn't know how to use language that is appropriate to kids. And she's saying stuff in the book like, your parents hate you and they're basically rapists. And that to me, I just think explicit indoctrination. Also, what the book does is it goes through chapter by chapter. It's all her big icons, her woke, the people she loves the most. You know, so she's going to go like even throughout history. So she'll have like Emmeline Pankhurst as one of the great sort of suffragette feminists, or Brie Larson, or people like that. Al-Baghdadi, the leader of ISIS, she likes him because he's like he's a person of color who made it,
right?
And also she loves anything to do with Islam as well,
right? Of course.
But also he's an austere scholar, as the Washington Post said when he died. He's an austere religious scholar, not mass murdering genocidal terrorist. Then
probably not if you're austere, right?
Yeah.
If you're austere.
So I think that's the gist of the book. But it's not really for kids.
Yeah, I would hope.
But I think it might be quite funny if some kids want to buy it.
Well, I mean, that's the problem, I guess, that kids aren't the ones buying the books and getting them read to them, right? I mean, it's these parents that are probably millennial age having children that think I don't know if they're on the right side of history, or that all the work that we have to do to find the truth has been done, right?
Yeah.
And I guess we've arrived to a point where there is social justice, and we have that, and we're going to put it in the form of a book and pass on this knowledge to our children from the age of 1.
It's nothing
and
new.
We're going to have a drag queen. Maybe that's the new turn on it. We're going to go to a library.
Yeah.
Have a drag queen who is have you ever been to a drag show?
I've been to many drag shows, but not as a child.
Yeah, no, I haven't either.
I mean, the thing about drag and the tradition of drag is there's an awful lot of sexualization within it, which is part of the fun.
That's the whole joke. I mean, I can't imagine. I've been to a couple maybe 3. I've been to 3 drag shows.
Yeah.
And I had a girl I was dating that liked RuPaul's Drag Race.
Yeah.
And at first I thought, this is probably just stupid. I don't know, nothing for me. But I ended up kind of enjoying.
No, there's some amazing drag artists.
Yeah, no, but the thing was that I realized is that it is just sex is a part of drag. It's a parody of just kind of sexuality and femininity.
Sometimes it's a parody of extreme parody of feminine traits.
Yep.
And I know a number of feminists who have a real issue with drag.
Because people call it blackface for
exactly.
Yeah.
So and I think there's a debate to be had with that, but I also know some very, very talented drag artists as well. There's also some absolutely terrible drag artists. I mean, some people just think if they lip sync along to Donna Summer, that's art.
I've seen that.
It's not necessarily art. It's just that you're too boring to do anything else.
I've actually seen exactly what you just described.
Yeah.
She was heavy set singing Donna Summer.
Right, but there are some really interesting lip sync artists who do some really interesting stuff, but that that sort of thing. No, it's not my sort of thing at all. But but I think there's nothing new about any of this. I mean, Christians used to do it. This is it's a new sort of version of.
What do you mean, like?
As in the indoctrination of children.
Oh yeah, I mean, probably still happens all the time. I mean, getting read Bible stories is in some way.
I had the same thing at Catholic school. It's just come back in a different form. That's all it is.
Yeah, it is. I don't know. It does kind of sketch me out a little bit. I mean, when I see a photo of a drag queen in a library. It's a taxpayer-funded institution or whatever it might be. It does kind of give me the heebie-jeebies a little bit.
Oh, really?
I gotta say,
I mean,
it doesn't bother you too much.
I don't care. I think it's stupid and funny, but I don't. What bothers me, I don't like drag kids. I don't like kids dancing in a sexually provocative way.
Have you seen Desmond?
Yeah. There's a chapter on him in the book as well. Like I find that stuff creepy as hell. And I think we should be able to say that without being called bigots. I think it's dodgy.
Yeah, it's super dodgy. Have you seen how much do you know about Desmond? Is amazing.
I mean, not much. I know that he's danced for money in bars, and I think an 11-year-old probably shouldn't be doing that.
Did you see? He was on. Yeah. Did you see?
I don't know if that's controversial or not.
No, it's not controversial. Have you seen he was on a podcast on YouTube?
Right.
You're gonna have to remind me. What was the name of the drug that Rohypnol?
Ketamine.
No, it was. So he was on a show. I can't remember.
On the painting.
Yeah, so he was on a show with someone who I don't know all about this, but I guess he was a member of Kids Club or something like that. Cool Club, some New York. Cool Kids Club. I don't know, some New York-based thing.
Right.
He was eventually convicted for manslaughter.
Yeah, this is Michael Alec, maybe.
Yeah.
Is that his name?
Club Kids. It was my brother.
Yeah, Club Kids.
Okay.
Thank you. And it was. Desmond is amazing.
I haven't seen that video, by the way, so I don't know.
It's shocking. So it's him next to Michael Alley, is that his name? And then a sign in the background that just says Rohypnol, which is...
Okay.
With a little girl. There was like a little girl in the painting.
Yeah, with a girl on the painting.
So I think just in terms of the optics of that, someone someone should have rethought that.
Yeah, really should have...
Yeah.
Should have rethought that one, I think. Anyway, I don't know. I guess we.
But look, I don't care. I don't care about like kids, like little boys dressing up in dresses and dancing as they want and doing whatever. That's up to them. I haven't got an issue with that. But doing it for money in a bar, I think, or posing in front of a Rohypnol poster might be
crosses the line.
Yeah, I think so.
I think that's probably why I find it so spooky. There's not really a lot of words. I'm not a very intelligent man, but it kind of freaks me out because I used to, and maybe these are something that many boys used to do when they're kids. You dress up,
Yeah, nothing wrong with that.
You don't really understand. There's no real sexual connotations to like a 5-year-old putting on a dress and like jumping around.
You should have transitioned when you were 5.
Yeah, exactly. I guess maybe
That's
someone
what should have happened. Yeah.
just told me then that I was trans. And then just
I mean, this is the weirdly conservative thing about a lot of this is, there's nothing wrong with a boy who has a traditionally feminine taste, and there's nothing wrong with a girl who has traditionally masculine taste. It doesn't mean that they are gender dysphoric, and like that to me is a real problem. Just stop that. This is why there's a conflict between the feminist movement and the extreme trans lobby. Insofar as feminists have always said that gender is a social construct that we impose on children, and the extreme trans movement says that they're born in the wrong body, and that actually things like a boy playing with dolls is a signifier of that it's the wrong brain, wrong body situation, which isn't true. So there's going to be a conflict between those groups in the future. Well, there already is at the moment.
Yeah, I can see why. And it's also because, pretty much on that same vein, it's because there's probably people that sadly grow up in a time where to be frank, I think being trans is kind of trendy. It's the trending thing right now.
Well, I mean, there are people who legitimately have felt that they are in the wrong body
sure.
and have this, and they should have the right to do whatever they want, and they should be able to transition. They should be able to call themselves whatever they want. I think you have to take the liberal position on this.
Mm-hmm.
I think the only time that you put a stop to it is if it intervenes with someone else's rights, and that would be the case with children.
Right. Yeah.
Because a child cannot possibly consent to undergo that kind of treatment.
Mm. I often wonder if it's the media blowing out of proportion.
There's not many. This doesn't affect many people.
Yeah, I tend to think that maybe I'm giving this more energy.
Yeah.
Is actually in the world.
We can talk about something else if you like.
No. I'm pontific. I'm ruminating.
I mean, look, I just talk about the extremes in all these areas, right? Yeah. So the Desmond is amazing thing, the drag kid thing is an extreme minority thing, although you've got a drag kids TV show in Canada, so
yes,
so it is a mainstream thing that's becoming mainstream. But I talk about the most egregious examples of free speech, stuff to do with race, to do with sexuality, to do with gender, to do with the environment. I think the adoration of Greta Thunberg to the kind of level that she is a kind of deity is funny to me, irrespective of what you think about the environmental issues themselves. I happen to think that I have a lot of sympathy for people who want to be environmentally conscious. I just think the kind of deification of a child is utterly absurd and not good for the child. I mean, if she were to want to change her mind, as many teenagers do, she's going to find that really hard now.
Yeah.
I mean, if she turns around when she's 21 and says, "Oh, actually, I don't think any of that anymore."
Yeah.
Can you imagine the reaction from the environmental lobbies? It's not good for young people.
No, and it's a literal. People really put it on this pedestal of when we went to the rally in Montreal, which is one of the large ones. I can't remember. It was probably 500,000 people. Came out. It was tons of people on the streets, but we saw signs of Greta Thunberg as Joan of Arc.
Yeah.
Carrying a sword. I think there's probably a couple articles written about how she's the Joan of Arc being spoken to by God, giving a message.
Yeah, that's funny.
And it's odd because Joan of Arc dies at the end, right?
Yeah, burnt at the stake.
At the stake.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that would be an interesting twist if it ends up that she switches her message and gets burnt at the stake.
Wow. I mean, I hope that doesn't happen, just to clarify.
Yeah, I'm just joking.
I think...
No, I don't.
God love her.
God bless her. Heavens. Anyhow, I wanted to ask a couple questions again about Titania and McGrath.
Okay.
Because, really, I'm really...
Why not? People never ask me about me.
Yeah. How is Andrew?
They don't care about me.
How are you?
I've got a cold at the moment, so I'm not happy about that. And
coronavirus?
It could be the coronavirus. And I'm, I'm fine. I'm well. I can't complain.
Yeah.
But I don't like having a cold, and I don't like sort of being busy. I'm quite a lazy person. I want some time off.
That's fair enough. I mean, as long as you're, just washing your hands frequently, I think.
I'm doing that. Yeah, I'm taking all the necessary precautions.
You're doing the sleeve sneeze?
I don't know what that is.
It's a sleeve sneeze. It's a vampire sneeze. Maybe you might.
I think you've gone insane right now. What are you talking about?
So, when you sneeze, hear me out. When you sneeze, do you sneeze into your hands? Or do you sneeze like a vampire?
No, I don't do that. Normally into a tissue.
Into a tissue? You always have a tissue on you, ready to go when you sneeze all the time?
Yeah.
Great, that's the best option.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm very happy with that.
Yeah.
All right, well, I'm very glad to hear that Andrew is all right.
I'm all right, and I'm reasonably hygienic.
It's good.
Yeah.
It's always good to be hygienic in these times of world health. Anyhow, I want to ask about Titania.
Yeah, go for it.
It's really quick.
That bitch. All right, go on.
That bitch that's ruining your life?
Yeah.
Yeah, what a... She's not a bitch. How old is she?
Well, I did say she was 24, so she must be about 25, 26 now.
She's 26. Did she graduate?
Yeah, from Oxford.
Oh, great. Wow, good for her. That's big.
Yeah.
So there's how many? I think probably this happened a lot more when it was starting out.
Yeah.
But do you still find that people get tricked?
All the time.
Yeah, still?
All the time, yeah.
Maybe it's just because I've heard of her so much that I kind of know instantly that it's satire. But
I mean, you just have to look. There was 2 days ago, I did a tweet about going to the Comedy Store in LA, and she tweeted about how it was a night of hate speech and all this sort of stuff, because she thinks jokes are violence. And then all these people underneath attacked her for it. So she argued with them. So I posted a number of screenshots of some of the arguments I was having as hers. It's constant. People think it's real, And she even posted one about, this was last week, about how all animals are naturally vegan, and that we just kind of we teach them to eat meat. It's like a patriarchal thing because men want to eat meat, so they teach animals to eat meat. Nonsense. And then lots of people tweeted about it, saying, argued with her. They were furious.
Wow.
So people, all the time.
Wow, that's insane.
Yeah.
I thought by now, because there's I feel like there's a good indicator just there that she's not real. I mean, what is her face?
Yeah.
How did you, when you click...
The face tells you it's not real.
The face is not a real human face. What is it? It's a computer-generated face?
It's a composite of 4 different women with fake glass. Like, if you look close enough, it's obviously not real.
Yeah. I mean, it's all there. Yeah, I don't really understand. People ever ask her for nudes?
They do, yeah.
Yeah?
But I haven't got any. She's. I mean, I'd have to. I'd have to do a Photoshop thing, wouldn't I?
Composite of 4 different ones.
She did post nude in Penthouse to smash the patriarchy.
What are you telling me right now?
She did, but that was superimposed on another. It was an interview she did for Penthouse.
Really?
It's online. Have a look.
Oh wow! I should have done my due diligence.
Yeah.
I guess so.
Yeah.
Really? Okay. So how did you do that? You took.
It was just they superimposed her head on some naked women.
Oh great.
So I
Speaking of which, this is a little off topic. I'm going to admit right now.
Yeah.
Have you heard of these Instagram influencers that are robots?
No.
This is starting to freak me out.
Okay.
Yeah. So there's a couple of them now, and they have millions of followers.
Yeah.
And one is called Lil Michaela with a Q. And
okay.
Yeah. You follow her?
Yeah, she's like half Asian.
No, she's like black. I think she's like black or.
But she's a robot.
So she's a robot. I'm not even sure if she really even exists. I think she might be totally computer generated.
Yes, it's a real human model posing, and then they CGI render the face and like render the skin and everything.
Okay.
Yeah. So
does she have anything insightful to say?
No. So she's just attractive.
She's very attractive.
She's a hot robot.
She's a hot robot.
Do you find her attractive? A little bit. Well, people are having sex with robots a lot now.
Have you
had sex with a robot?
No.
Do you want to?
No, actually, I think
You've thought about it
We
though.
tried to get him to have sex with a robot once for a
What,
video,
for the podcast?
And he refused, and it took me a long time to try and because there's a robot brothel in Montreal. And
Yeah,
tried to get him
okay.
to do weird shit, and he wouldn't do it.
I don't know.
I think you need to open your mind.
Do you think so?
Like, you're being really prudish.
I'm being prudish.
Yeah.
I think. See, this is I don't know how to justify this to myself because technically I think there's nothing morally wrong about having sex.
Well, it's a victimless crime.
It is.
You know.
It is. It's a victimless crime.
Yeah.
The robot doesn't know what's going on.
Although I've seen articles from feminists saying that actually this is encouraging violence against women because
I've seen that too.
because of course with a robot you're allowed to hit it.
Yeah.
And that's not, it's not great, I suppose, but for the robot, I guess.
Yeah, at this point, I'm going to say I'm going to pass on the robot. I mean, I'm not going to, are you in? I mean, is that your...
I mean, I don't rule anything out.
Okay, well, that's you're pretty open-minded.
I mean, I'm a Catholic, so I would have to check the Bible to see what it says about that.
It's fine.
Is it okay?
Yeah.
Is there nothing about robots in
No,
there?
unless the robot is Catholic.
You can always find a loophole anyway in the Bible.
A loophole and everything.
Yeah.
I guess it's just not for me. I guess it's maybe, there's nothing, it is a victimless crime. And,
is it even a crime?
It's not even a crime. No, it's actually totally legal.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, maybe someday. I think it's probably about 15 years out for me.
Okay.
Yeah,
right.
I haven't given up yet.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm glad we talked about that.
Is a new book out?
In a couple of months' time. I don't know yet.
Okay.
It's not.
Is it finished?
It is. The new book is finished, but I'm going to rewrite bits of it. I think.
Is there poetry in it?
Oh, I've put a few poems at the end in an appendix, but I didn't want it to be like the last book.
Right.
So the last book is interspersed with poems,
Right.
and I didn't want this to be the same. So I put a few of my favourite poems at the end.
Okay. And they're children rhyming poems?
No.
No? Wait.
Slam poems.
Oh, slam poetry.
Yeah.
Moving your hands a lot.
Yeah. No, she doesn't. Like I say, she doesn't know how to talk to children. So she does. I mean, she does slam poetry workshops for children. So she wouldn't know how to talk down to a child, or. So yeah, but it's not. No, the book is not poetry predominantly. It is mostly just chapters about her heroes.
Great.
Right.
All right, great. And people can expect that in the next few months?
Next few months, yeah.
All right, great.
Yeah.
Well, this is...
But they could order that, couldn't they, for now?
Yeah, for now. I mean, this is Woke, A Guide to Social Justice by Titania McGrath. This is Andrew Doyle's book. And follow Titania McGrath on Twitter.
Yeah.
This has been Post Millennial Podcast. Have a good one. Thanks for watching. And everything here, all mistakes were intentional. Have a good one, guys.